everybody? This is another edition, Full House edition, I should say, the Flow Show, the Flow fucking show, the Flow Damn Show, For the Love of Wrestling. What's going on, guys?
What's up? What's up? My name's Young Baca. I don't want to step on your intro, Brian.
No.
But my name's Young Baca, and I love professional wrestling, man. I haven't felt this way in a long time.
Heard about that. Heard he has a pretty extensive.
How do you feel about professional wrestling, Brian?
Collection of pictures.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
He's like, well,
I like it enough to do a podcast on it, but I don't know if like.
Is that a Selena?
First of all, I want to say congratulations on your engagement, man. That's freaking awesome, dude.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%.
You showed them all wrong. That's awesome, man. Man. You know, all those women that say you're never going to find someone better than me, you're lucky I touch you, all this stuff, you locked down. And where I come from, we call that securing the bag. That's what I call it.
You said you're lucky to touch me.
Yeah, well, you've had women tell you that before, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh, you're a Clippers fan, but I'll let it slide. Stuff like that.
I let it slide.
Once or twice, maybe. I don't know.
But like I said, I jam all my professional wrestling into 4 hours before we do this podcast. So I think I'm a little bit more optimistic about everything that's going on. I love the Hurt Business.
You think you'd be a little bit more dead inside?
No, man. I love watching Raw. I love watching Raw.
You like watching Raw?
Let me put an asterisk. I love watching the Hulu 90-minute version of Raw. It's amazing.
I would say that I think you love watching Raw for a specific act or a reason, but I don't think you it's Raw because it's just Raw.
No, I do. I enjoyed. I thought as a fan, I have to watch Raw. I love the Hurt Business, but
outside of them, what appeals to you for Raw? I'm curious.
Well, I like Raw Underground. I do. I like.
Really? You like Raw Underground?
I like them. I love the Mysterios, and I did like Retribution before they came out this week. But before, they were just sneaking up. I loved it, man. I love the whole Mysterio cast. I love all.
We were just talking about if Leo was gonna get involved, and then they kind of planted that seed, huh?
Listen, I loved Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio,
right?
Whose son is it? That's my kind of wrestling. I don't know. I know you guys like these.
Everybody was just moaning and groaning because it's already been done. You know what I mean? That's the inside joke everyone's already been making since like Dominic made the jump. You know, as far as to professional wrestler. So it's like to have him to have Seth do it. I felt like and that whole segment was weird because at the end of it, like Seth was like trying to come off like sympathetic. Which was, I don't know, it was weird.
I don't think it's sympathetic. I think that's
or was that more sarcasm?
Yeah, it's sarcasm. It's like that's the Young Baca.
He's like, I don't want to cause any problems and any issues for everybody's family. Anyone that's going through that, I'm sorry.
Listen, I know you have a boyfriend. I just had to come over here and tell you how beautiful you look. I don't want any issues. It's the same thing, you know.
I mean, I guess it's I got to get that Young Baca translator app is what I got to do. That's what I really need.
The problem is, the only issue is that Aaliyah's not a good actress. That's the only thing.
I mean, she only had a few lines.
Is anybody I feel like that's like
she has a stronger voice than Dominic. I mean, Dominic.
I like Dominic, man. I bought a Dominic T-shirt.
I'm not saying that he's bad. I think he needs to find what his wrestling voice is, aside from like.
Yeah, but he's 19.
I'm reading this promo on behalf of my family and the WWE writers who wrote this for me.
Dude, first of all, who picks out his outfits? He always.
He's a young Latin.
It's got to be that LV or nothing.
Yeah, he's a Latinx too. He's 19 years old.
He's wearing a baggy ass collared shirt. Like who picks out his?
You know what I mean? He's trying to be the dapper tattooed gentleman. You know what I mean?
And Rey Mysterio,
I think he's doing a great job.
Got that Suavecito pomade.
I love Rey Mysterio, but he's been wrestling for like 30 years and has cut maybe 2 good promos in his entire career.
You talking about Rey Mysterio?
Yeah. So let's. Seth Rollins has been carrying this program, but he can only carry it so far, and it's on like month 8 now. I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. I think that's my overall disinterest in. I mean, I watch Raw every Monday. I do because I'm one of those guys that. Well, why do you still watch it? I want to see if it's going to get better. And some weeks it does, and some weeks it goes back down. You know what I mean? So, but
I think the last 2 months have been really good. But again, I watched it short the 90-minute version, which makes a huge difference.
Not in terms of story, but I feel like that they've we talked about it before. The tag team division is like non-existent right now, so it's the same teams going against each other. So I think that's just my only complaint is that we've been seeing the same people mixing it up for the last like 3, 4, 5 months. I mean, like we're getting Andrade and Angel Garza, like both of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they're going against Street Profits again.
I don't know
like
if this
time.
I don't know if this is going to pop up in the podcast, but when I saw that they announced the tag team title match for Clash of Champions, this is my reaction.
Dude.
Yeah, that's tough. That one is tough. Which sucks too, because I love the Street Profits.
I love all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Out, the red cups go flying. I think it's amazing. But
I'm not
in a bad position.
They're entertaining. It's just, to me, it's not the fact that it's just a bad decision. It's like it's a glaring indication that there's no other team. I mean, like what, the Viking Raiders, they're not going to be back. Like you got Eric fighting solo on Underground because Ivar's gone for like at least a year.
Right.
I don't even know what other tag teams they have right now. I mean, they just put together Humberto
and Dominic. They could put some together that are okay if they wanted to, but it's just,
especially if you have all those guys in the back, just use them for tag teams. But the problem is it comes down to the same thing people always say. Vince McMahon isn't a big fan of tag team wrestling.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, at least you could put some guys like, you know, Mustafa and like Ricochet would be good just because of their styles.
Well, technically, they had Cedric Alexander and Ricochet together.
They were like the Flyboys or
for months and didn't use them, and they're at least exciting enough to put on TV.
I mean, at least maybe put Shelton Benjamin and Cedric in a team together since they're going to be representing.
I would love to see that in the next program. Anything her business. Her business is the best thing on Raw.
It's amazing. I think it's the best.
Because to be honest, like MVP, he don't get enough praise, and I know he's been a topic of conversation on this show quite a few times, but. Dude cuts a promo. I mean, these guys look great in suits. Like collectively, it's a great look for them. Like, I wouldn't be mad if somewhere down the line, because we've seen him mix it up with Drew before. But you know, if Drew manages to win this Sunday at Clash of Champions and he's looking for the next challenge, I wouldn't be mad if MVP went up against Drew for the title.
All right, so I have a take. I have a take on this right now. I'm not gonna lie. One of the low-key best feuds in wrestling right now is Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. But I like.
That's what I'm saying.
But hold on. I like Keith Lee better than both of them, and they're blue balling us with Keith Lee. Like either involve him or don't involve him. But
that was my thing. Was like they had real convoluted like explanation about that match, because it was like if Keith Lee manages to win, then you know he gets a title shot, but only if Orton can't make it. But then I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so what if Keith Lee doesn't win it and Orton can't make it?
Which I felt like if they really wanted to pull something like that is Keith Lee showing up to Clash of Champions thinking he has the match. Randy Orton's music hits. Then Keith Lee doesn't get the match. They tell him, hey, you got to go in the back because you don't get the match. But he's now officially the #1 contender for the next pay-per-view. Like, I think
I can see that.
If they want it, that's still very forced, and that's me putting my own story to it.
Well, no, there's at least a little bit of logic in there, as opposed to just making they usually like to force the pieces together is what they do. But yeah, I mean.
So here's the thing, man. Randy Orton and Randy Orton's the feud with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Keith Lee, Street Profits, Raw Underground, Retribution before they made them into costume characters. I'm telling you, Raw isn't that bad, man.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Man. This is why Raw is bad, because I think Retribution is the only thing we're talking about this week, and they're terrible. And to be honest, I'm kind of optimistic about Retribution. I know that's a hot take. I'm going to say it right now.
I mean,
they have really good wrestlers.
How much further can they go? Slide down.
The expectations are so low.
Yeah, no, that's what's going to work in their favor if they're actually able to pick it back up at this point in time for sure. Because that's the thing is like you got a guy like CM Punk who he made a joke about one of their masks, and surprisingly Dijakovic or T-Bar, what the fuck, he responded to him on Twitter. And even said, like, you would have never been, because, everyone was rumoring that CM Punk was coming back and he was going to be the leader at one point. And he even made reference to that, saying, like, you would have never been a great leader for us. We would have ended up like the new Nexus. You know what I mean? So he kind of, like, threw shots back, which I thought was important because you got a guy like CM Punk who is still associated with WWE, but he's not affiliated with WWE. his opinion still holds weight. He's almost like the Joe Budden of pro wrestling. You know what I mean? So it's like once they say something, then everyone's like, yeah, Logic does suck. You know what I mean? So it's like
Logic is super corny, man. Logic is super corny.
Hey, his first album was great. Second album was great, and then everything after that, I don't have.
Logic said, I will 1-800 that pussy in reference to his song about suicide.
Nope. Okay, so Logic sucks. All right, so
that's bad, right?
It's a mixed message to go with his mixed race, but anyways, not to make it racial. Baca, Brian, you were saying?
I was gonna say, the thing is though, T-Bar, in my opinion, is one of the most gifted wrestlers in the company, and all he has to do is put on some good matches. And
are we gonna have to start calling him that for reals? Like that, like because it's like I like how you're saying it as if like I'm like T-Bar is nobody. I'm like, well, Dijakovic is a great wrestler, but T-Bar.
But the thing is that they just make him some big guy who does big guy stuff, and that's not gonna happen. But if he starts doing springboards off the ropes and stuff, that's a totally different story.
Well, let me ask you guys this because
I don't know if his mask will stay on.
This is the part where I was like having a few thoughts about was so you got Mia Yim, Keith Lee's girl, and then you got Dijakovic, Keith Lee's friend, who are both been introduced as such on camera already on NXT programming. Mm-hmm. Are we gonna sit here and be like, oh, so his girl and his friend have been one of the ones that's been beating his ass?
Well, let me ask you this. And I wanna. I don't know if I had this conversation with you or Doc actually, but we
all look alike, right?
No, I was gonna say we were never totally sold on Mia Yim. She has the gimmick of someone who plays NFL Street.
That sounds like
video game. All right, so we were never totally sold, and then now that she's a totally different person, at least she's part of something. Whereas, like, I don't think I would have liked Mia Yim coming up to the main roster anyways. So
I wouldn't have been mad if I wouldn't have been mad at it. I think it would have been too early because they already. I mean, obviously Mercedes getting called up too, so it doesn't leave a whole lot.
I know, and I know like all three brands are in the same city, so there's not a lot of travel. But do you think she's there because Keith is there?
Did you guys freeze or did I freeze? There you go.
Yeah, you're freezing.
Yeah.
You were doing like you had like your own Nas cover for a while. It was pretty prolific.
Oh, so I froze. Okay, I thought you guys froze.
Okay. But yeah, I think she might be there because Keith is there.
I was thinking the same thing. That maybe it was like Keith like trying to get her up there too. But I mean, then again, I don't know. I don't know if Keith has that much pull, but he obviously is in huge favor with the management with everything they've done prior to him coming to the main roster. Sidebar, they got him wearing a singlet now, and I'm like, come on, man, you guys are making it worse.
Mm-hmm. But Shane Thorne would have never got a push, you know, like he's kind of there, you know, like I see it. It's not a good push, but at least they're on TV, and maybe they'll do something.
Well, I mean, to your point, Shane Thorne even said that he kind of revealed himself. Because he changed his name on Twitter, and he even said like Shane Thorne never main evented Raw. And he said like Slapjack main evented Raw on night one or something like that. You know what I mean? But again, it's all about perspective. I get it, you know. But I'm like, yeah, but you guys lost. First of all, it was weird how you guys like had a disqualification loss. Because that was like dumb. I mean the names, dude. Like me and my brother, we were talking so much shit about it yesterday on our podcast. Like it's, and then I hear the names of the two potential names. Well, you hear the one name that they said that they were going to come up with for Mia Yim was like Shatter, which I was like,
doesn't that sound like someone taking a shit though?
Dude, like
I shatter.
I mean, it depends on the context, but absolutely, it's like
I shatter.
But in comparison to the two I heard today, I don't know if you guys saw this. Apparently, and it's official for Mia Yim because she already changed her name.
Reckoning.
Her name is Reckoning, which I'm like, and my first thought was, dude, that's the name of Damian Priest's finish. And then a fan actually said that to her, and then the response was, tell him to go talk to the effing boss about it. Talk to the boss about it. I don't give a fuck or something like that.
So can you imagine in 2020 a wrestler comes out and his name's The Rock? You guys would complain 45 minutes about how stupid it is.
No,
about this
because
is the dumbest thing. Oh, Rock, it's going to be the Bevel. Dude, I'm saying you got to give these names chances, man.
Dude, even Abyss was the Abyss. There was the Undertaker. Like,
But if those came out in 2020, you guys would complain 45 minutes about it.
I would.
No.
I don't
internet
think
wrestling
there's
community.
You're the biggest wrestling
demographic-
internet fan I know, Baca.
there's a demographic of fans that definitely would be fucking pissing and moaning, but guys like us, we'd be used to it. You know what I mean? So we would.
The guys that live in their mother's basement.
Well, okay, hold
we
on.
don't live in
Baca.
each other's basement.
No, I'm not saying you guys, but the guys that live in their mother's basement.
those
You
guys.
know the Urban
They have
Dictionary.
Cheeto stains.
Of a mark?
The
Do you
keyboard.
Do you know the Urban Dictionary term for slapjack?
No, I
didn't want to have to bring this
don't know
up.
what it is.
I didn't want to
What
have to
is
bring this up because as soon as I talked to my brother, he
This-
sent me the screenshot, and I was like, "Oh Jesus,
This is
I don't know what that means.
obviously this is going to make the flow
it's so
show.
foul, bro."
This is going to make the flow show. So
No, but honestly, this is Vince. You could, if someone told this to Vince, he's like, "Yeah, let's go with that." But yeah, let him know.
I'm going to try to keep this as PC as possible, but it's when you are experimenting on yourself and then you ejaculate into your hand and then you slap somebody with it. That's called a
The
slapjack.
slapjack.
And that's Shane Thorne's. That's Shane Thorne's name. Shane Thorne, right? Shane
Everybody
Thorne's
was like,
name.
they all sound a bit sexual. I was like, I don't know about man. Like for me,
Well,
when I was like, I was thinking
let-
about slapjack. I was like, Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat when he was in NWO. He used to roll around with a slapjack that he would hit people with. So I was like, these sound like they're named after weapons. Like you got Mace, and then at first I was thinking Mason Betha. You know what I mean? I thought maybe I swear it would. But
I think Mace is a cool name. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
Like,
until
if you
I
was
wouldn't-
Mace for the rest of his
I
career.
think I rather they would have spelled it like MASE
Mhm.
or maybe the dollar sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For life. But
That
they
would-
spelled it with a C. I was like, God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
And then T-bar, there was a few different things like a rowing machine at a gym. Like they said that the type of bar you use to pull back is called a T-bar. There's an acronym for T-bar as well. I totally forgot what it is, but I don't even.
So imagine in 2020, this new hot wrestler gets a major push, and his name is The Rock. You guys would
If he's
bitch him
good
off for
and he's
20 minutes.
charismatic, we don't give a shit.
But what you guys are telling me is these guys are good.
But the
Right.
thing is, The Rock was The Rock the entire time. His name was Rocky Maivia, then he's The Rock. It's a totally different thing.
But
Whereas
you have to
these
treat
guys,
this-
we know these guys are
Let's
Donovan
squeeze again.
Dijak. We know these guys are Mia Yim. We know that the name of these original names are what they were. It's not like
You want to know what name I bitch about?
But you guys know that. I don't know that. I'm the
I bitch
casual
about-
wrestling fan. I didn't know that.
I'll bitch about a name
NXT's
like
on
Ridge
USA now.
Holland before I bitch about The Rock. A name like Ridge Holland is trash.
there was
Well,
a
why
guy
do you say
named
that?
Michael. There's a guy named Michael McGillicuddy in Nexus.
Yes, Michael McGillicuddy. And then he said, "Can I go by Joe Hennig?" They're like, "No, you'll be Curtis Axel."
Yeah.
Fuck.
So this is my thing. Do you guys feel, and this is maybe me being too optimistic, or do you feel that in a way these are just Retribution names? So like, for example, if one gets kicked out of Retribution, they lose their name and then they go back to whatever. Like, let's just say
I can
Dijak's
see
like,
that.
Slapjack, hey man, you're not cutting it, you're out. And then all of a sudden now Shane Thorne's on Raw because he lost his nickname.
I hope that's the case because I hope that they wouldn't still be known as Slapjack even like if they lose the gimmick. Because at some point there has to be some sort of reveal because they've already made reference to being from the developmental system and being at the performance center. So it's like it's obvious. And then another spin my brother was saying was like he thinks maybe Triple H may have something to do with that at some time. Like maybe he's like the person that's working the pulling the strings, so to speak, because he's so closely associated with the NXT and the product, and even in his match with Shawn Michaels, they had like freaking NXT logos all over the gear and shit. So
because this is the
I
group
don't know.
called Retribution. It's not the Retribution. It's the group called Retribution. So I
it's
feel like
evolution.
if you think about it, like maybe these names are the names they use within the group, and then people outside the group just use them out of respect. But really, it's like I'm Dominic Dijakovic, but actually within my group, I'm T-Bar.
So here's the issue.
All right, go for it, because I'm trying to make this make sense. And
But here's the
obviously it's
issue.
not.
We just talked about all the amazing things happening in wrestling. Roman Reigns is going to wrestle without a T-shirt this Sunday at Clash.
That's the biggest thing in wrestling. If that happens,
He said he's doing it.
We don't know how soon it's gonna happen, but he definitely confirmed no shirt, new music. So that's big.
but
I'm saying that he's
I've
been
been
doing
asking
some
for that
great.
for years.
He's been doing some great heel work. I think Jey Uso's been doing awesome. Randy Orton has been amazing. Hurt Business has been unbelievable. Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio. I think there's a lot of cool stuff going on in wrestling. Spend time talking about the bad stuff.
Well, let me put this in perspective, though. The Retribution.
Yeah, because I think this is going to be definitely on the bad side.
Retribution bookended Raw, though. It started Raw and it ended Raw, and we were talking about it the entire time. Brian Saxton's like, I don't know how these guys got contracts. Like,
well, I was going to bring that up because it's like there's so much against.
I almost lost it right there.
There's so much against WWE. You know, they're into destroying WWE and they're anti-WWE. They hate them so much. But then they sign a contract to work for him. But then later they have like that promo against Hurt Business calling them whores for accepting WWE's money. I'm like, but that's technically what you're doing when you like sign a contract with WWE. So
this is my thing about it. If as a fan, if someone asked me about Retribution and I had to explain Retribution to someone and I don't have all the answers as a fan,
I don't envy your position at all.
So that's why things don't make sense. Like the names, why are they here? Why were they in NXT, but they're different people here? Why are there contracts? Because
there's huge holes in the origin story for sure, or the backstory, I should say.
And I think is like if they kept it simple, we wouldn't have just been cool with it, right? Like, and I think like the thing is I think they overbooked the situation, and it booked it. Like I said, it was on every single hour of Raw this week. It's not like.
You guys talk about the backstories and stuff like that. If a wrestler named Undertaker was proposed in 2020, he's the dead man walking. He's dead, but he wrestled, and then stuff like that. You guys would lose your minds.
No, but the Undertaker didn't have 5-star classics with Keith Lee on NXT for a year beforehand.
I think it depends because like so say there was never an Undertaker prior to this 2020, brand new guy, new concept. Name Undertaker. He's this dead guy that wrestles, impervious to pain. I think it really depends on how he looks, the presentation. To be honest, like, because even guys that I like now, I had to be sold on. Like Mankind when he first came out, dude. I was like, what the hell is this guy? Hair half pulled out, mask all mangled, and never seen a mask like that before. Freaking ridiculous, copious amounts of hair, body hair on himself, just full stabbing himself with pencils, squealing like a pig. And then he threw himself off of a sail, and then things are different. But
and
I digress.
The Fiend works in 2020 and 2000.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like, but would that work if we didn't know that Bray Wyatt was already like having some pre-existing like supernatural type elements to his character? Because I mean, I think it works because Bray Wyatt needed to do something to evolve, and it wasn't that much of a far cry from his usual character. It just went a different way, which I think is a huge reason why we were able to accept it. I think safe it was cold turkey out of nowhere. I don't know. I mean, we couldn't see like Gangrel or like the Brood right now, right?
Maybe we could. They had a really good entrance. I think if you have a really good entrance.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, the song though.
If you have a really good entrance, you could pull off a lot of stuff.
That's very true. Like, I mean, The Rock did it. I mean, not to go back to Undertaker too. I mean.
But you talk about presentation. You're telling me when Undertaker was presented at Survivor Series, you were blown away by how this guy was presented?
Dude, as a kid,
think it was okay?
I mean, I remember that day. My brother remembers it more than me just because that's one of his favorites. He did a whole song about it, dude. He remembers that day vividly, and he definitely was struck with like, fear, but like, who is this dude? Like, this dude's crazy looking. And he was hit like with the Undertaker bug that day, 100%. We'd have to get him on the show for him to give it justice, but that's 100%. Like he.
But how old was he? He was 8.
I would say so, yeah.
So imagine being an 8-year-old kid and your favorite wrestlers are getting beat up by these dudes in masks. You'd be like, "Yo, what the hell is going on?"
Well, let me throw this out.
Sometimes you got to remember that wrestling's made for kids.
Certain segments 100% are produced.
I don't think Slapjack was made for kids. So I'm gonna throw this out.
There's internet now, so that's dangerous.
I'm gonna throw this out there to you though. Is like we understand that sometimes NXT and the main roster are not in the same universe in a way, but there's also a fine line of like treating your fans like they're stupid.
100%.
And like this is totally like the thing is like it's one thing like if you really want it, because maybe we could have been like, is that really Dijak under there? He's bald now. Okay, maybe he is different. But like Mia Yim literally looked like Mia Yim.
Yeah.
Like,
She looked like her
I'm
mask.
not going to
was
talk about
big.
how anybody looks and how they look the same as other people. I'm not going to get
Well,
myself.
Mia Yim looks like
So,
Mia
I'm
Yim.
not going to say
That's pretty
anything.
bad,
I ain't
right?
saying
Hey guys,
anything.
the Reckoning looked a lot like Mia Yim. They looked a lot the same.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I didn't get the fit. Like the other name that they got supposedly picked out for Mercedes. Have you heard this one?
No.
And to me, it doesn't make any sense because it's like literally the definition of your guys is like your group name. It's her name is supposed to be Retaliation.
Who's in charge of these names?
That's exactly the result in the response I expected. Because I was like, dude, what? Like me and my brother were like, so we're just gonna pick like just action words that all mean kind of the same thing, like revenge and.
What's up with these Xbox gamer tag ass names?
Dude, straight up, bro. Like I'm like thinking
All right,
because
so
I was telling my brother,
let's
I was
take
like,
one step back. Let's take one step back. We have Young Baca, Kwency Jones, Brian Andrews used to call himself Crazy K. So maybe we should ease up on the stereotypical names.
Bro, if she was a battle rapper named Retaliation, okay, that'd be dope.
That's different, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I think that would be awful. Battle rap name was Retaliation.
You think Retaliation's better than Mercedes Martinez though?
No, I don't know. I'm saying if there was a battle rapper Retaliation, I wouldn't give the guy time of day.
What if it was a female? What if it was a
Nah,
femc? Oh, see,
I'm
misogynistic, man.
First of all, you're giving a lot of rappers time of day.
So, but I wouldn't.
Yeah. I've seen some of the names of the guys that you.
I've seen some of the over the West. Right?
I'm trying so hard, Brian. I've been working on
$2,000
some of the
winners,
stuff I say, man. I've really been. It's really tough, man. In 2020, you get in trouble for everything, and I've just been the last couple weeks.
Tweet, bro.
I did. No, I said something on the. No, I didn't say something on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Somebody said something on the podcast, and I didn't correct them, and I was mocking them, and I mocked what they said in my voice. And somebody very important in my life brought up to my attention that you can't say that stuff, you can't be doing that stuff in 2020. Not when I'm trying to get a Spotify deal in 25 years.
You can't make Slapjack Urban Dictionary references, and
it was bad. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be 30 years old on Sunday, so I'm trying hard, man. I'm trying hard to be mature. So it's really tough, man, to be mature.
Yo, put that on a t-shirt. I'm trying hard to be mature right now.
It's tough, man. Trying to be mature and trying not to be cocky and stuff.
That applies to a lot of situations. Like if someone tries to test your gangster, but you're trying to like be more godlike, you're like, yo, I'm really trying hard to be mature right now. So
trying to be by the law now, you know.
Well, if this racist guy comes walking into where you work and he has this store saying all lives matter, and but it is tough. It is tough.
No, I mean, he's kind of asking for trouble if he's walking in your space. I'm just saying, you gotta open yourself up for some possibilities and repercussions.
So I don't know if we're getting off of this yet, but I'm gonna have another Stephen A. moment.
Yes.
When I watched Cody Rhodes come back to AEW this week, this is exactly my expression. When they did all the theatrics and it just turned out to be Cody Rhodes after 5 weeks off, I was just like, are you serious?
So you weren't a fan of the return of Cody?
No, not at all.
Like
I
just him returning, period, or how they did it?
How they did it.
Okay, so you weren't mad at him coming back after this amount of time then?
No.
Okay. How would you have done it different? Because to me, the part that made it real dumb is like they played his normal music they always play before he comes out, and they're like, "What is this? Who could it be?"
JR being salty as shit.
I'm like, bro,
we don't know what it is. Don't stop it. Like,
no, we gotta sell it. We gotta fully sell it. Like, it was just. And then, of course, the biggest joke I've seen is that everyone's been saying that I guess Cody was off listening to a lot of My Chemical Romance since he went and dyed the black hair with the neck tattoo. And I was like, oh, that's good. I mean, I thought it was a little weird how he almost single-handedly beat up most of the Dark Order by himself when they just jumped him. Left him for dead a couple weeks ago. But I don't know. I mean, I wasn't mad he came back. I mean, I felt like the return was a bit lackluster, but I felt like it had to be during a Brody segment, but after watching it, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for the dog collar match, but I don't know if, like, chronologically, it's like, oh, man, I took him out, took his belt, insult to injury, took out his brother. He finally returns, and now we're having a dog collar match. I'm like, well, we missed a few steps.
Explain to me what a dog collar match is.
Pretty much, you're wearing a collar. Your opponent's wearing a collar. You guys are connected by a chain. And I don't know how they're going to do it. It depends on how on what fed or promotion it is.
I think they're setting it up for Brody Lee to hit a pretty sick finisher from this.
I honestly, I could see him like pulling. He's gonna pull the chain and hit him with like that boss man slam or something. I could see something cool, but yeah, it's either usually it's used basically to make sure your opponent can't run away from you. I've seen some pretty gruesome ones in ECW where obviously you get your opponent over the rope, then you can kind of like hang them. I've seen another variation where it's weird. They'll have like the leather strap match rules where you have to do the 4-corner touch. But yeah, mostly it's like a blood feud type of thing.
I like Cody a lot. I know I talk a lot of shit on this podcast. I think it's because
this is where we go to talk.
I can't separate what I know his role is in the company and who he is as a wrestler, and for some reason I can't separate the two. So
that's why Vince McMahon was a commentator for a long time.
I was able. It's weird. I didn't think I'd be able to either. Same with the Bucks, but I don't really think about it until I have to think about it or have to remember. I'm like, oh yeah, these are the guys that write most of the show. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I kind of liked the return was only for the fact that, I was bitching about the game show announcement. So I felt like a lot of people were like, oh, great. So he got written off TV just to go do this game show, which was great because, they worked guys like me because then Cody comes back. And, I think with him dyeing his hair back, it's like to kind of symbolize like, yeah, you're going to watch me on this show, but that's not what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm actually here. Like, that's already pre-taped. That's old Cody, freaking please the business investors type shit, but I'm coming back on some dark chemical romance type shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, yeah.
So this is my thing is I had this issue kind of with the Young Bucks a little bit at the beginning because I felt like they kept on getting over on the Lucha Bros. And I felt like if you wanted to make the Lucha Bros look good, then you got to kind of put them over a little bit more. But ever since then, the Young Bucks have kind of taken a back seat. Kenny Omega's taken a back seat and allowed other superstars. Which
a lot of people were complaining about, too.
For some reason, though, I know Cody's put over MJF and all that, but the thing is he always has a big entrance. He's always bigger than the person he's going against. And it kind of just throws me off. Like, I love Cody Rhodes, and I think that's why I get so frustrated is sometimes I'm like, hey, dude, just dial it back.
I get where you're coming from, especially when he's, like, one of very few guys that gets pyroed. You're like, oh, okay, since, you kind of run the company. You're like, I'm going to get this elaborate entrance, pyro. Yeah, I see exactly what
if Cody was out for 2.5 months or something like that, and there's fans in the crowd because I know you're trying to get that pop, then have this entrance he just did. But there's 15 people in the crowd, and you were out for 5 weeks.
So you're telling me that everything that Cody Rhodes was upset with Triple H about, he's doing it at his own league?
Who said that? You gotta watch. Sounds like Baca.
You guys, I know. That's what I'm saying. He was upset. He comes to
libelous.
He smashes the throne that's meant to be Triple H's throne.
No, that's totally.
But I'm saying, but 100%. You're saying that like the biggest thing about Triple H is that he buries people, that he puts himself first. He always has the biggest entrances, things like that. And now this is what Cody Rhodes is doing when he has his own playground.
But if Triple H was doing that in NXT, it's a totally different thing. But Triple H just does on the main roster, where that's probably Vince's idea the entire time, anyways.
Well, and not when he
big entrances are saved for WrestleMania. So it's not
Cody Rhodes is a bad guy. I agree.
Cody Rhodes puts a big entrance on just because it's a Dynamite on a Saturday or some shit.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's true.
Bad guy. I love Cody Rhodes. But
I feel like Cody has some toys to play with, and I think he's taking advantage of it. But I think
But then why do we get mad at Triple H for that?
But I'm saying we do get mad at Triple H though. But
Internet wrestling community, they bury Triple H online.
They got mad at Triple H for having pyro?
No, for him, they always say that he buries talent.
Well,
that
that's
he always
true.
has the biggest entrances. He always has to look the strongest. Everything you guys are talking about Cody Rhodes doing.
I don't know. I mean, has Cody been quote unquote looking the strongest? Because he got his ass whooped by Brody.
You just said that he looked like he was about to beat the Dark Order all by himself. That's what he's.
My thing is about the presentation. It's not necessarily who he is as a character. The thing is, like, he's always given the bigger entrance, no matter who he's facing. I always feel like he does the extra thing. And the thing is, if you want your entrances to mean more, then you should only do it every so often. But every pay-per-view, it's bigger than his regular one. And even on Dynamite, he has the stupid big intro. Like, just come out to your theme song.
I forgot he did that Star Trek
He's
one.
he's the only person who comes out through the middle and not the sides. Like, I don't know what it is.
Listen, I love that. I would be doing the same exact thing. It would say Young Baca, all these files would come off. Let's not kill Triple H about it.
It's like, hey,
but I get if Triple H was going on there.
But
I get if Triple H was on there, like, destroying Adam Cole and everybody in NXT. But no, when Triple H has his own little project, he kind of sits back and all he does is like a little interview at the end of Takeover on Facebook. Like Triple H.
I agree. Triple H is taking a huge step back on NXT. And
I don't know. Have you guys seen that Facebook Live intro? It's just a lot of bells and whistles, man. He spares no expense. No, I mean, I don't think I would. I see what you're saying, Baca. I don't know if I would 100% put what Cody has done up against the amount of things that Triple H has been accused of and, you know, criticized for over the years. Because I think this is like you said, he has these toys. So I think a lot of these guys are still learning, and I'm not giving them a cop out. I'm just saying, like, it's just an honest perspective. If I'm Cody Rhodes and I got like money to play with, then I'm like, you know, I left the biggest company that said I wasn't going to be anything other than mid-carder, and I know I could be more than that. Yeah, I'd probably splurge a little bit on my entrance and want to make that a big deal. But I also think that's like just rookie mistakes. You know what I mean? Just because, you know, they have it. I mean, Cody has – this is what, only like 1 year in their operation? You know what I mean? Cody has only won one title.
Yes.
Granted, he's won every title defense up until he got squashed by Brody, but he's lost almost every, I think, pay-per-view match he's had against Jericho. He didn't lose against Shawn Spears.
So the best entrance goes to the upper mid-card guy that loses all the time?
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? But like the Darby Allin stuff. And, I mean, there's some people he's still done good by based on, like, how the situation was booked, depending on what it is. But I wouldn't say he's Triple H territory just yet. But I definitely see what you're saying, like, oh, but they're complaining about this shit. They go and kind of, you know, do the same shit in their own way. But I don't know. I mean, it doesn't, like I said, I think I've been able to kind of separate the Cody stuff. I don't notice it as much. I think it's more because I'm so exposed to the behind the scene and behind the curtain stuff. I hate looking for that stuff that makes
the flex. I'm fine. Look at that flex. I'm so
behind
the
no,
scenes.
but that's
he
was at Daly's place. He was at Daly's place the other week, dude.
I love it. I'll be doing the same thing.
He broke the Lance. He broke. Quincy's the one who broke the Lance Archer getting COVID news, dude.
Let me break it down for Baca. I mean, like, guys like
no, I just give you a hard time. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Who have an understanding of how there's politics and there's decision makers and all that stuff. So it's not just like these guys are really fighting each other. No, now that I've been exposed to that, it sucks because I kind of watched the show under those like lenses, right? And I was just saying in another group I'm in, like, dude, there's certain surprises in wrestling that still pop me. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard. I mean, I try to watch more as a fan because I watch the product for wrestling 100% above all, but I do have a job to report this shit. And so it's like at one end, I want to be like, okay, that was kind of cool. I can kind of sleep over that. I'm just watching for the wrestling. But then the critique in me is like, well, I'm sure that wasn't planned or yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? So I still try to watch it objectively as a fan and not try to get too caught up in, oh, this is Cody who booked himself in this match to win against Darby again this week. You know what I mean? So, but it is hard to ignore, especially with the extravagant, over-the-top, Young Baca-esque entrance.
Listen, I say this stuff about Cody, but I would be doing the same thing, man. My entrance would be amazing. I fantasize.
If I could be honest about something, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Once Cody officially took himself out of the world title picture for at least I don't know how long that will be.
That was real early.
Then I feel like he should start dialing it back to having just an upper mid card entrance and stuff like that. Like, because if you're gonna be the top babyface, but you're not gonna be facing John Moxley anytime soon, then like allow somebody else to kind of have like use those toys to have a bigger entrance for somebody else. I don't know.
You're talking about a man that doesn't have an ego. As a man that has a huge ego, I could see why it's kind of hard for him to step back, especially when he was fed with so much doubt. You can't do this. You're not a top player. You shouldn't be in the main event scene.
You. I think you've had this argument with me a while back, but Cody Rhodes did really well for himself in the Indies, and now he's doing pretty well for himself in AEW. There's none of that doubt anymore. We're a year into this company now. Like he doesn't need to have the big comeback.
Maybe you see it that way. Maybe you see it that way, but maybe he still has those voices in the back of his head.
I wouldn't know where they're coming from. I felt like if he didn't have his own voice telling him that he's a main event player, he wouldn't even be doing AEW right now or putting that much belief in himself.
Because like right now, I'm super on board with Kenny Omega bringing back the cleaner, doing some more title stuff. Hangman Page after his Chris Jericho match and to where he is now, they really done a lot to get me invested. That what, the elite guys, I don't mind that they now put themselves a little bit on top again. But Cody's always kind of moderately been there, and I don't mind that he's been there. But he's like kind of blue balling us because he can't be in the world title picture. But yeah, he's got the biggest entrance, he's got the biggest return, he's got this going on. Like, to be honest, like you're a mid card guy right now, and just be a mid card guy. Like in your own company, you're a mid card guy until you
wait until he hears this episode next week. He's coming out with the hugest entrance. For Brian Andrew to call him a mid card guy, he's gonna.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of like Bobby Roode. He's been kind of relegated to mid card before he's kind of disappeared. But it's like he had the grandiose, glorious entrance all the time, and I'm like, okay, but what good is it if you're never gonna be able to touch?
If you never win, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, in the case of Cody, it's like, yeah, also you had the best, like you said, the best entrance to the mid card.
Well, for example, Bobby Roode's going to come back soon. We're going to hear the glorious thing, and we're all going to be looking like this at the TV.
I'm going to be looking super duper excited, bro. I've been missing Roode. I'm not going to lie. I've been missing Roode. I don't know what's going on with him.
You're the only one that's missing Roode. Nobody else.
I'm actually.
Nobody else.
Me and Doc actually.
I love Bobby Roode, but I'm not gonna lie to you. If he's just gonna come back and be in the 24 title picture or something.
No. See, that's my thing. Is like I want to see him come back and not be like if the least I want to see him do is back on SmackDown. Like I wouldn't mind if he was a fourth guy that was like trying to fight for the Intercontinental title, along AJ and Sammy and.
I thought
I wouldn't be mad at that.
It would be really dope if he came back actually, and just for one time, just to kind of get his buzz going again. Face Finn Balor for the NXT Championship for one takeover to get his buzz back, actually, and then go back to the main roster.
Well, because I don't know if you guys watched NXT this week, but there was a like a commercial for like someone that's supposed to be returning at Takeover. You guys see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like a past champion, right?
That's what I mean. It's based on the verbiage. It sounds like it, but they didn't say it. But they said like something I built with my blood.
Yeah.
And once I left, you guys took over with paper champions. So I'm like, well, why did you even mention the champions? And then obviously like he's reaching for the championship, saying he wants back what was once his. I thought maybe it could be Bobby Roode, even though the whole like infrared, freaking green shit that they had him, the whole theme of that whole vignette doesn't really fit Bobby Roode. But he's been gone long enough where it could be him. And if we're talking about champions, I mean, I went down the list. The only other person it could be where it would make sense, and Doc actually had this pick. He thought maybe it could be Bo Dallas.
That's what I was about to say, Bo Dallas too.
I would just want to see Bo Dallas be involved in Bray Wyatt stuff. It doesn't have to be a tag team partner. It doesn't have to be anything. Just being the Firefly Funhouse is like an assistant.
You would think that they would have done that already, seeing that he's been on SmackDown this whole time without Curtis Axel since they fired him. So,
my this is gonna be a cold take because it's not gonna happen. But I think
I thought it could be Tyson Kidd, but he's never been champ.
That'd be awesome. I love Tyson Kidd.
If Sami Zayn loses the ladder match on SmackDown, do you think he makes an appearance, or do you think it's Samoa Joe?
Oh shit, that'd be kind of
Samoa Joe wasn't on commentary this week either. Well, he has been off for 2 weeks now.
I think they said him and Todd
Concussions.
both had time off because like Michael Cole was on there, and then they had like with Jerry King Lawler.
Yeah, shout out to the King, man.
And we haven't had too many North American.
Talk about a guy trying to control what he says, right? Jerry King has
Dude, I was
like twitching.
Bro, I was watching some old footage, and it's like the whole. What gets me is the high pitched, like the whole.
Instead, you know how people tell you what you have to say in your ear? They're just telling Jerry like, don't say something racist, don't say something sexist. They don't even give him the script. They're just like, hey, just don't make this racist, don't make this racist.
Can't say that. It's just like, not sorry, Jerry. Sorry.
And then
talk about somebody. Yeah. Well, I don't even think they were headphones. I think it was a shock call. Every time he says something crazy, to shock him. You know?
Oh yeah, we need.
Look at
those. Jerry, yeah. Cause shit, he be saying some stuff. Like, dude, even JR did. Like, what, a couple weeks ago, he had said something about Anna Jay, right? He was like, "Oh, did Anna Jay have a wardrobe malfunction, or was that wishful thinking on my part?" It's just like, what the fuck, JR? I was like, "This is the Dark Order. Calm down."
JR is one of the creepiest dudes.
Nah, man.
Dude,
on Twitter. Me
and Baca.
His Twitter game is hilarious.
Me and Baca for years have been.
Well, his Twitter game is the essentially like the equivalent of when someone texts you, but they have to include the dots and make things weird. And it's just like, dude, why'd you have to physically put in the dots to give it that effect? It just would have been creepy.
There's going to be a university someday that's going to pay me and Baca to do the research on JR's sex history, and we're going to write about it or something like that, because me and Baca have been on this for years that we know JR is a dog. Like we know that guy.
You think he's out here getting play?
That
at
guy,
these conventions and stuff.
We know he's like
getting these ring rats.
It was only like 2 to 3 years ago before like people started thinking sexual harassment is a thing. So like, JR's been in the business for a very long time.
Long time. Hey, head of talent recruiting.
I was just about to say, no disrespect to his late wife. You know, this guy was responsible for a lot of great talent signings and scouting. So
and all that did was give him a free pass after she was gone.
So listen,
it's like she said, as long as you come
I'm
home
not saying
and give me the slobber knocker.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's happy about what happened to Mrs. Ross. Obviously not. That was love of his life. I'm sure he's super sad.
Absolutely.
But there has to be a small part of him that's like, yo, for the first time in 40 years, I'm a single man, one of the greatest wrestling commentators of all time.
And now what I'm doing,
the Oklahoma football team.
So what you're saying is the first thing you did was hit up Jericho and say, yo, is there room for one more on the Rock and Wrestling Rager?
Yeah. He needs like, I'll bring the Rager. Like,
oh no.
Look at some of his tweets.
God,
it's super weird. It's super weird, man. So a woman wrestler put like photo shoot with so and so, and he'll retweet it and say, "Well, thanks for my invite," or he'll put the stupid little cowboy emoji. It's super strange.
And it'll be he's the guy that posts the creepy comments followed by the emoji with the smiley with the glasses on.
This is the stuff we're gonna talk about in the Phil show.
This is awesome.
This is because I'm gonna say this. I'm not accusing him of cheating. Maybe he was cheating, maybe he wasn't. But I'm saying once Mrs. Ross passed away, it was no longer cheating. And this guy was like, "This is my window. I have."
Like Alicia Fox, I heard you like to drink. Like, damn, like DMs open and shit. Like no. Fuck, man.
Poor Alicia Fox.
Hey, I love JR, and if he got some play, hey, he deserves it. I mean, it can't be worse.
There's nothing wrong with.
It can't be worse than Jim Cornette and doing the cuck holding with his wife and all that. I mean, that's their business.
The Snapchat, right?
JR, cuck.
That's their business. Yeah. Do you want to push or not? God damn it. You know what? But before we end this, we do have Clash of Champions this Sunday. Figured it would be great for us to do some predictions. You guys down?
Card. I don't even know what's on this card. I just know that there's that tag title match.
Oh, I don't even know what's on this card.
Dude, there's like Stephen A has entered the chat. There's 9 matches actually, believe it or not. And I was thinking, I'm like, are there even 9 championships active right now? But I'll go through it one at a time. You guys can let me know what you guys.
Hot take. I've always felt like for this pay-per-view specifically, and probably WrestleMania, the NXT title should have always been part of this pay-per-view.
I felt like that too, because it's like what's weird about it is the tagline about this is the only time a year. I'm like, that's not entirely true. Like, there's times where you guys just decide not to put a title on the line because you don't have enough time on the card. You know what I mean? Or you guys got like a non-championship feud going on that needs to be a blow-off match or something. But I don't know. It's just to me that phrase always was weird to me. I'm like, so you guys have a wrestling company, but only pick one day out of 365 to defend every title. That's weird.
Every title should be defended on every pay-per-view.
That's how I felt. And it used to be like that. I mean,
except for maybe one or two, right? Like maybe the Intercontinental title takes a month off, but then if you do those months where you have two pay-per-views, then you could do a little switch off. But
like the U.S. title was riding the bench for a while. If not, they were in catering or freaking the kickoff show. It's like shit.
All right.
But anyways, speaking of the U.S. title, we got Bobby Lashley defending the United States Championship against Apollo Crews. I'm gonna go with Bobby Lashley.
When do you think is gonna be the next time a white person wins the United States Championship?
I don't know.
Not anytime soon, baby.
Just to be real, since that verdict came out,
like,
I don't know if
that title is.
Let's just say that the U.S. title is in the Hurt Lock for a while. All right, I don't know if they're gonna be like, nah, bro. This is America now. This is what we doing. This is our business. But yeah, I'm going Bobby Lashley.
You know what, Stan, baby? Hold locker. Let's do this. Hurt business.
You always say that. Every time it's
I always say that. I don't know why, man. Every time.
Like last time we were talking about Buddy Murphy. You called him Murphy Lee.
Awesome. Murphy Lee. I think I might have some on-set dimensions creeping in, dude.
You got
something's going on upstairs, man.
You got like topical dyslexia, so it's like you know the person's name, but you just think about someone from an entirely different profession, and it just jumps in there. But you said Bobby Lashley as well.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Bobby Lashley.
Next we got you might want to get the Stephen A on this one. the Raw Tag Team match.
Let's see who this is.
Street Profits defending against Angel and Andrade. I'm actually going for Andrade and Angel, to be honest.
I hope it's them too. I feel like it has to be them at this point. But if we're sticking to that we want the next storyline to be the Hurt Business and the tag picture, then you need a babyface champion, right? So I guess I'm gonna go Street Profits, even though I'm not gonna root for them.
So
I'm going to Street Profits, man. Too soon to take the belts off them.
Dang.
I know they've had it for long. No. I know they've had it for a long time, but they haven't done much with it. So let's give them some more time.
So you're advocating for black on black crime for those tag belts? Okay.
No, that's what Brian wants.
I don't know. That's what you said.
Brian wants to see them go at each other.
And then you basically said you wanted them to take the belts from Street Profits.
Yeah.
And then Sheldon and Cedric could win, or MVP. I think it's gonna be MVP and Cedric. I think MVP
is taking a step.
That actually might be.
When's the last time he wrestled?
That might be better for Cedric from like a mentor, like character development type thing.
I feel like Shelton Benjamin's just there to eat pins, even though I love Shelton Benjamin. He's not there to.
At least he's not rolling around with
a champion.
Maybe they'll freebird it.
He's a champion.
That'd be kind of cool.
Let's freebird it.
I wouldn't be, it'd be like the bird gang rule instead of the freebird rule.
Only this time the freebirds won't be racist, right? It'll be the opposite.
Yeah. So sorry, Michael Hayes. It's about Isaac Hayes now. Shit. Next we got this is actually pretty intriguing. Triple threat ladder match. AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title.
It's probably the coolest match on the card.
Yeah. I was talking about it before. Like I like those storylines where you got the real champion coming back and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cool little built-in storyline.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
With Sammy,
for whatever reason, I don't know if it's Mandela effect or whatever, but every time I see Jeff Hardy with the title, I'm always like, he didn't win that. He just has it. Like he just went on a fucking rager one night and then just came home with the IC title. Like,
I come home with stuff all the time that don't belong to me, man.
I don't know. You get home, you lock the door. You take.
I woke up one day with
pockets, put it on the dresser. IC title pops out the back pocket.
I woke up one day with a prevent sign on my nightstand, so I don't know how I got there.
He lets like six
six
lighters out of his back pocket.
Yeah.
6 IC off his.
For this one, I'm going AJ Styles because I'm just an AJ Styles mark, and I'm proud to say it. So
I think the company's upset with Sami Zayn, but I think Sami Zayn's the best option here. And you could give him a cheap win by.
I want
pulling
Sammy
some
to win, but I mean, I got to go for AJ. I kind of signed a contract already, so you know.
I'm saying the same thing you're saying, Brian. I think Sami Zayn's in trouble, so they're gonna give it to AJ Styles.
But I think AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns. I think they could easily transition AJ Styles to a babyface. I
Yeah.
think that's a good fall feud.
I'm not again. I mean, we've
me
seen
up.
them make magic before, 100%.
Yeah.
It'll just be different this time because you had AJ with the whole with the OC with them. They were doing the whole beat up John Cena thing. Like, we're coming off the heels of that, right?
Right.
And then so he had like what 2 matches with Roman that were really good. Which I think those are the matches that made Vince actually confident with AJ and like, oh, so this is why we hired this guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I wouldn't be mad at seeing them wrestle again. It's been a while since we've seen AJ versus Roman, to be honest. So I'm not mad at it. So I mean, if in that case he'd have to lose, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, at some point, unless we're gonna unify the championships. So you said Sami Zayn?
Yeah, it's a Sami.
And then who are you going for, Baca?
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, okay.
Sami Zayn's in trouble with Vince because he cares about himself.
But Jeff Hardy should be in trouble with Vince too. But
I think that he's not in trouble, but I think they don't trust him as much. I think the safe thing's putting on AJ.
Jeff, it's like he never gets like the full support of like, yeah, we know you're all good, man. Welcome back, but we remember, and your brother fucking left us. Like it's always.
I honestly think for the next couple months, because I think like the AJ Styles thing is something I think they should do because AJ Styles is the main event guy. But I think for the next few months, we're gonna just get Roman Reigns just tearing apart people who we think are borderline main event guys, like Jeff Hardy. Like Jeff Hardy loses here, put him in the main event picture with Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns can just tear him apart at the next pay-per-view.
Big dog.
You know what I would actually like is if we did get AJ with Roman. You get the interesting dynamic of obviously the drama with him and Paul Heyman that they can bring on screen. Like, especially if AJ is going to be like somewhat the face, you can definitely throw some like shade that's kind of,
he could still just be
shooting a little bit.
One of those heels that he's still a heel, but he makes sense. And he could just be like, you got my guys fired. You got my crew fired, X, Y, and Z. I'm now going to take that title off your client. Et cetera.
Yeah.
Get speared. Roman versus The Rock.
I mean, hopefully he doesn't sound like how he did Edge and he gets injured again, but yeah.
The Rock's going to be at WrestleMania this year, and Buck is like, I fucking hate that name in 2020 or 2021.
He's like, no one is cheering because they don't get it.
I'm saying if this new guy comes out, his name's Edge. You guys would say Edge. What kind of name is Edge? Blah, blah.
Edge is still better than T-Bar.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a big difference between Edge and Retaliation.
If you have to think to yourself,
if
you have to think to yourself to say bar every time instead of bone or anything like that, I always have to remind myself it's bar, and I think that's already what makes the name bad.
What matches we got left?
We got the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura defending against the Lucha House Party.
All right, I'm gonna throw this out there too, because this also deserves a Stephen.
Yeah, I agree,
100%.
They needed someone because again, SmackDown.
Gosh, that's so bad. That's awful.
SmackDown doesn't have tag teams either, other than Tucker and Otis.
Ain't a tag team.
And then they got Miz and Morrison.
That briefcase can go, and then they're gonna be back in the tag title picture.
Because like New Day's not there. Usos are not. Well, Jay is, but Jimmy's injured.
This is not going to happen, but since I feel like these points don't have any weight, I'm going to say Lucha House Party.
I'm going Cesaro and Shinsuke. I mean,
I'm going with Cesaro and Shinsuke just because I have integrity and I care about my takes.
I mean, I've been following SmackDown, and they've been doing this whole like Lucha House Party, like implosion type of like storyline. So I'm like, I figured this is the blow off where they finally.
I love supporting brown and black wrestlers, but I can't stand those guys.
Lucha House Party.
Yeah, I can't stand them.
And they're talented individually, but yeah, that
it's awful, man. It's awful.
I mean, I wasn't even mad when I found out about them. I'm like, oh, they just redid the In Your House logo. That's pretty cool. Like, I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do to get yourself noticed, right?
Right.
But then, like, they just weren't winning ever, and then they're still together. I'm like, why do you stay with someone you never win with? They just don't even make like LeBron, right? You know, he went to Miami for a little bit. You know what I mean? And had
hey, do me a favor. Let's not talk about my guy LeBron. Let's do that. All right.
Hey, I'm wearing.
I love LeBron James. I love LeBron James. 5 more games to go, baby, and we're champions.
Mamba on 3. You know, even Hulk Hogan turned his back on Randy Savage and joined the NWO. You know what I'm saying? So, but next we have the women's tag team championship match. It's Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus the Riot Squad.
All right, let's just go Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
That's where I'm at.
I think it's Nia Jax and Shayna as well.
That's where I'm at too. We got the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Bayley taking on Nikki Cross.
This is probably has the most, in my opinion, like dramatic storyline appeal that they could go in any direction, and I think it won't be as bad as people think. Like obviously, Bayley should win. I'm gonna go with Bayley because I think Bayley and Sasha Banks for the title.
It makes way more sense to have the championship at the pit of their feud.
But I'm gonna throw this out there: if Nikki Cross won, and then it was Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Cross for the title, and then they had a blood feud with Bayley and Sasha, and then eventually they put the title back in that feud somehow, and like maybe a fatal 4-way at Survivor Series or some bullshit like that.
That actually would be really good because it's like 2 really good friends that dissolved, and they're all like, the drama is like kind of.
The title could go either way, in my opinion, though, and I still think a good storyline's coming out of it. There's no way they could fuck this up, and they will. They'll find a way to fuck this up.
But I mean, they've been doing well so far. I mean, especially with how long Bayley has been champ, and they've been letting her stay champ.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see. Like, I mean, she could lose, but I don't see Sasha costing her the title. You know, because. While it would add another layer to their feud, they don't really need the layer because it's. I mean, she beat the shit out of her, dude. She Brian Pillman her, like, you know what I mean, like. So it's kind of already there, but I just see like Bayley having to win, and then they're gonna have her versus Sasha possibly. I mean, Mania is hella far away. I don't know when they would have that match.
So I'm picking Bayley, but
I'm picking Bayley as well.
Just to throw my point across, though, but I think, like, if you were to not have Nikki Cross win and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross were in a feud, they're never going to get back into the SmackDown title picture just with their feud, right? But I think
true.
If Sasha and Bayley were to go without the title, they would.
That's true.
WWE would force them back into the title.
Yeah, that's true, and it would just cause for a more competitive looking match. I mean, that's pretty good. I wouldn't be mad at that, but. I know Baca is a Nikki Cross fan through and through, so I don't know how he feels about that. You know?
No, I like Nikki Cross, but I think Bayley's getting it with interference by Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
We all think it's gonna be Sasha and it's gonna be Alexa Bliss, and I think they set that up.
I think it's gonna be Alexa Bliss.
Then we have the Raw Women's Championship. It's Asuka taking on.
Okay.
Who's she facing?
I'll go with Asuka.
Oh, Zelina Vega, right?
Andrade. She's facing Andrade.
Andrade Jr.
You know, this is a hot take right here. I'm going for Asuka, but I think it might be Zelina's night. Like, if she wins and then Andrade and Angel win, maybe that's how they get back square. But
that would be a nice power group.
That's not how the game works. You can't say I'm going to pick this person, but I think this person is going to have a good chance of winning as well. You pick a side, man.
I told you who I was going for.
Okay, so
not to mention
side.
Brian just did that.
I know. That's why I'm like, all right, that's not how you guys do it. I had to say something.
So when I did leadership over here. That was the straw that hit the
flow's not boring, right?
I go with Asuka. For Asuka. I'll put my life on the line.
I'm gonna
definitive for you. I'm
gonna throw this out there though. I think Zelina Vega is gonna prove that she's one of the best workers in the ring.
Yeah.
At this
do you think she is?
Have you seen her prior to WWE?
No, I haven't, but I've seen her last 2 weeks in Raw, and she struggled.
She used to be she was like way more active than now. She wasn't doing like manager work. She was in Impact or TNA back in the day, but she used to wrestle all the time. They even actually they were the first company to have a women's tag team championship division in the United States.
Impact does some cool stuff, man. It's a shame they don't get the love they should.
No, they were the heart of a lot at first, but then they had weird ass matches like a reverse ladder match, which They have like a reverse
ladder match.
Dude, a reverse ladder match is basically it's the King of the Mountain match where you have to fight people and you have to beat someone first before you can go to the ref, grab the belt, and then you know after you beat somebody, you have a certain amount of time before someone stops you to hang the belt back on the.
Oh, okay.
It's so weird and it doesn't make any sense.
On paper, it sounds like it could work, and then it doesn't.
Well, I'm thinking
sounds cool.
Like, why would you hang up the belt when you're gonna have to like celebrate with it when you're done? Like, just take it down.
Hey, can you take that back down for me? I already went up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can you tell the guy to bring it back down? I wasn't thinking this through. I don't know. It's so
I think Zelina Vega is just a little rusty from.
No, yeah, I think Zelina
full time.
I don't know, man. You know, she got paid. You know, got that Rock money. You know what I mean? Or was it with what was it? $3 productions. $6 production.
$7.
There you go. $7. We got that money off that fighting with my family.
The Rock is such a shitty name, so
you know what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, in 2020, a guy comes to Rock, you guys would be talking about 45
I think The Rock is a bad example. How
about the 2020? A guy comes out saying he's the next action star, and his name is Dwayne Johnson.
That's a good point too. I'm going with Oscar. Oscar has this one. Oscar's great. I love Oscar.
Yeah,
I would love to go on a date with Oscar one day.
Oscar's
just yells at your face.
Bro, I really feel like Oscar. She finally got Vince.
You seen those Oscar pictures on Twitter? It's
yeah.
It's
you're
gonna have you'll have a hard time getting hard, and she's gonna say, "You're not ready for Oscar."
You're not ready for Oscar. Dude, I don't know.
So much pressure.
Yelling at me like that.
So much pressure.
You're like just yelling, just
so
the
much
tone
pressure.
of her voice.
You're just trying to get you're just trying to get to know her.
Yeah.
You're being a little bit aggressive right now. Chill. The last two matches, we got the WWE Championship. We got the reigning, defending Roman Reigns taking on his cousin, Jey Uso. I think we all know that
Roman Reigns.
Jey Uso is going to be the next breakout champion out of the dynasty, correct? I think we could all.
I say this about every Dolph Ziggler big match.
Oh,
I'm
man.
going to say it now.
Just those words right there.
Don't put Jay with Dolph like that. Don't do that.
No, I'm going to do this
Don't
right now.
do that to my guy.
I marked out because I thought it was perfectly how they did it when Goldberg and Dolph Ziggler had the match, and Dolph Ziggler hit like 2 super kicks or something on Goldberg.
Yeah.
I think if Jey Uso opens the match, rings the bell, and just hits a super kick on Roman Reigns, and then that even heats up Roman Reigns even more to beat the shit out of him, I think that'd be dope.
That'd be yeah, I can see that. Kick him out the ring. You guys remember that triple threat match? It was like Shawn Michaels, Triple H when they were still together.
And John Cena. Yep.
And then as soon as the bell rang, he super kicked Triple H out the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
And John Cena's face is what sold it too. The shock.
Yeah, but ain't nobody that shocked, man. Come on, Peacekeeper, calm down.
All right, I'm gonna watch that. If it's gonna be on HBO, I think it's gonna be good. I trust HBO more than I trust DC, whatever studios they're using.
Wait, what is Peacekeeper?
Oh, that's a character from Suicide Squad that John Cena's playing, and they're doing a
spin-off
show.
And they're doing a spin-off show.
Sign me up. I'm in.
And then isn't he part of like an animated cartoon, like an adult cartoon too? Like he plays like a robot or something?
I think so.
They were like doing a lot of like promos for NXT for a while.
By the way, Doom Patrol on HBO Max.
Oh yeah,
is got 96% on Rotten Tomatoes for both seasons. It's really good. So
I'm checking the man on my list right now.
Cyborg in it.
Yeah,
I remember some of the early trailers because as soon as you say the word superhero, Instagram comes showing you everything.
Brandon Fraser's in it, and he plays a piece of shit dad. It's amazing.
That's who's in it. Yeah, dude, that's where he's been. He's been stuck in Jumanji or what? I know he wasn't.
Yeah. Yep.
He was probably stuck in ice again as the Encino Man. Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I'm going Roman on this one, obviously. And then the last one is the Universal Championship. Drew McIntyre taking on Randy Orton. Ambulance match. What do you guys think?
It's always better when you have the baby face chasing after the belt. And I think Randy Keith Orton's been doing an amazing job. And that's what's happening.
My concern is, if they take it off Drew McIntyre is not going to go near the title again.
No, I disagree. I think he's going to be chasing Randy
I
Keith
think they're going to set it up. They're going to have rematches, and then they're going to let Randy Orton hold that shit until Edge faces him at WrestleMania.
Randy Orton's not going to lose it twice. Randy Orton's not going to lose it to Drew twice.
But if Randy Orton's going to chase John Cena's record, he's going to have to start winning some titles. I'm going to Randy Orton.
That's true. But let me ask you this. I mean,
you think he cares about that?
Yeah, I do. I do
Yeah,
think.
I think it does
I do
bug
think
him.
Randy Orton cares
I think
about that
it seriously does bug him that he's behind John Cena for sure.
because
He's better
he's
than John
here
Cena. He is
day in
better
and
than
day
John Cena.
out. He actually does put the work in.
Yeah.
I'm not saying John Cena didn't, but now John Cena's gone. So I think if Randy Orton's still really young compared to a lot of people who've put as much time as
Because he
had.
started so young, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So
very
like
true.
Randy Orton could still. I think he's under 40. Like
I'm gonna
I
look
could
it
be
up right
wrong
now.
about that. No, he might be. He might
He
just
just
be
turned
40.
40 a couple months ago, which is nuts, dude. It's crazy.
So like
Yeah, 'cause
he
he's
could still put
yeah.
another decade in, and in a decade,
Yeah.
all he has to do is win 3 championships. I think it
He
could
can do
happen.
it. He can do it before. He can do it in 5 for sure.
Yeah,
I mean-
I think I think you win one now, that puts him at 14, right? And then he just needs to win 2 more to tie and 3 more to win, or 3 more to be on top.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
And
do you think that John Cena is never going to be heavyweight champion again?
I think he might win. My dream scenario is actually that both Randy Orton and John Cena will be at 16, and the winner of that
That'd be
match be
amazing.
17.
That'd be amazing.
that'd be good.
I was going to say my dream scenario would be Beyonce and J-Lo, but what you just said is honestly much better. Honestly, much better.
I mean,
you weren't ready for Oscar, but you're ready for Beyonce and J-Lo.
Beyonce and J-Lo, I'll knock it
She
out.
should have. They don't yell at me like that.
Yeah.
Like Husky did.
But that does, honestly, if you had Randy Orton and John Cena,
Yeah, that sounds. Oh, well,
that'd be great.
Because no lie, the only thing I was thinking was like, Cena, he's doing movies and TV. You got Lesnar, kind of in limbo doing the free agency thing. Batista's retired. Like Orton's the only one from that era that's still there. So.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Triple H, who's the only guy really from the Attitude Era. Kane finally left. Undertaker finally hung it up. Shawn Michaels needs to stay retired, and I can say that. I'm a big-ass Shawn Michaels fan, but Randy deserves it. But I don't know. I think I'd rather see, if I'm going to see Randy with a championship and I want to see him fight against someone at WrestleMania, I don't know if I want to see him fight against Edge.
I don't
I'd rather see
either.
him fight against someone that can use the rub. Someone new that they can, give the rub to.
Well, what happens
if say like even if like Randy loses, like, do you guys really want to see Edge win the championship one more time?
What happens if in a few months Edge comes back and he costs Randy Orton the championship? Then they have a fight at WrestleMania.
That I wouldn't be mad at. Like I'm not mad at them two fighting again. I just don't think the championship adds so much. I mean, there's gonna be a large, probably 40% of the fan base, probably 45% to be honest. I'm being generous. They probably want to see Edge with another run, but let's be real. Edge he can't wrestle a championship schedule right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and now, no fault of his own. I just don't want to see him.
Well, it is his fault. He should have had a stronger match.
Well, let me throw this out there to you, and I think like maybe this might. I think what we're trying to consider here is that we just don't want Randy Orton to win this Sunday and then hold the title that long, and then at the end of it he loses to Edge, because then it just feels like that's even longer of a period of time where nobody's getting that rub, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
no one gets the payoff from beating Randy from holding the title that long. Yeah.
I think if Randy Orton won the title this Sunday though, and then at like Survivor Series or something, Drew McIntyre wins it back, or Keith Lee, but let's just say Drew McIntyre because I don't think they're going to put on Keith Lee yet. And then Randy Orton in February or something wins off Drew McIntyre again. They have the rematch like on Raw, and then Randy Orton defends it against Edge. Would you mind as much?
I
don't want to see it, but I feel like that's what
I think that's what it is. It's not the fact like, I know other people would like to see it. Me personally, I don't think I want to see Edge go for another championship match. I think, especially at this point in his career where he does have a second lease on his career, he should use that time to do anything he wanted to do or thought about doing after the fact, whether it's a tag team run with Rey Mysterio again, or, using himself to put over people that they desperately need to make into new superstars. I think that's where I'd much rather see him positioned into. But I'm not here to take away anything from what Edge wants to do or wants to accomplish. I just don't think there's anything else he needs left to accomplish. I mean, it sucks that he left so early and not under his own control, but you can't lie. He was very well, accomplished when he left.
How many world titles has he won? Was it 11?
I want to say it was because, dude, him and John Cena were trading him almost as much as Orton and Cena were trading him at one point.
I want to.
I mean, former Intercontinental title, former King of the Ring, former obviously tag team champion. I don't even know if he touched like the European or the United States championships, but he's obviously already a Grand Slam champ.
Mm-hmm.
He won 11, which is pretty damn impressive, man.
I think he
I only
won
got one.
Rumble as well.
Well, he's not going to break the record on the schedule he's on, but
no. He shouldn't be champion again.
And I don't think so either, which is why. Does it add a little drama? Yeah, but I don't think I think everyone could agree that it doesn't need to be a championship match. We know they're going to revisit that final blow-off match between them, but I don't think the championship necessarily adds the stakes are higher, but it doesn't add anything to the story. You know what I mean?
So what we need, obviously,
unless Edge costs him the championship, like you said, then yeah. But
this is what's going to happen. Otis is going to figure out a way to keep his briefcase. Otis is going to figure out a way to keep his briefcase. Edge is going to beat Randy Orton at WrestleMania. The next night on Raw, Otis is going to come out and pin Edge for that title because everybody loves Otis and everyone loves Edge, and that's a perfect way to destroy Otis's run for the world title. And that's what
I liked. I didn't have to love him, but I liked Otis. But I'm so sick of that gig.
The only way you could make Otis's cash in on Edge be any way beneficial is have him not beat Edge and Edge spear the shit out of him.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
You know what?
Keep Otis with the sympathetic baby face, and then Edge is back to being the rated R superstar.
I want Otis this Sunday, or if he's able to get out of this stupid storyline is with Miz and he holds it longer. I actually want him to cash it in, and I actually want him to pin Roman Reigns for the title, and then Roman Reigns is like, "What the fuck just happened?" Beats the shit out of Otis, and then tells Paul Heyman to go back there and get another referee to restart this again, and then he beats the shit out of Otis and wins the title right back in the same night.
I can see that. I mean, it actually reminds me of like when Jericho beat Triple H for the title with the fast count and Earl Hebner, and then they had to like restart the match and do all that whole shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at that. I mean, it just always intrigued me, like, why Otis? Because I remember, dude, they worked me. I was like excited. I'm like, hell yeah, another accolade for the phenomenal one, Mr. Money in the Bank. This is gonna be good for him. And then it's like, wait, what? He drops it and he catches it, and I'm like, where are we going from there? And then it's one of those things where I can't help, everyone says it too, like, dude, you totally forget he has the briefcase until he pulls it out.
I was actually for it because that was at a time when SmackDown sucked really bad, and Otis was the best thing on SmackDown, and I legitimately thought, like, I think they were kind of skeptical at the time. I thought they thought they were gonna be within, like, in front of fans a lot sooner than this has appeared. And I thought, like, if Otis just holds it long enough to when we have fans, which could be, because remember, they thought they might be able to pull off SummerSlam at that point.
That's true. Well, I'm sorry, go ahead, because I did have some more news about. I was just gonna say, they've been at the Amway Center doing the Thunderdome stuff for quite some time. I heard the WWE officials have been telling talent to be ready to start traveling again after October 31st.
Election. Everyone says after the election's gonna happen.
And keep in mind too, throw this out there, is Florida just lifted all restrictions.
Really?
So if they want to bring fans in, let everyone get COVID for one night, but at least for one night you had fans. Then...
And you just always will remember that day in more ways than one. Fucking A. I mean, and it's it's funny you bring it up because obviously both shows this week were affected by the COVID outbreak again. Freaking Lance Archer's out. There was a few people on. Dude, how do we know? Maybe that's what happened with Samoa Joe. And I mean, not to wish it on nobody, but WWE, they're not really being forthcoming with what's going on.
That's true.
But see, that's the biggest issue now. Whenever anybody, just even if they had to plan leave of absence, or they just you feel a little bit ill, but it has nothing to do with COVID, we always assume it's COVID now, right?
Yeah,
right.
A little cough. That's why I love this. There was a commercial the other day, I think, for Robitussin, and they were like, people were coughing before this year. You know what I mean? So and I was like reminding people, like, coughing is okay. I mean, dude, you'll clear your throat and people are already looking at you with death wishes nowadays. You know what I mean? But I digress. Let me get back on topic. Drew McIntyre or Randy Orton? I'm going Drew McIntyre.
I'm going Randy Orton.
Randy Keith Orton, baby. Best thing in wrestling right now.
Randall Keith Orton is his full name.
Is Randy Orton the Owen Hart of Hurt Business? I'm just kidding.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean, but like at this point, Randy wouldn't take a backseat for anybody.
Randy Orton.
He should have. He's been amazing, dude. His promo work the last couple months has been unbelievable.
I'll give him that, yeah. Because he used to drone on, and it would be like, okay, dude, you went from finding yourself to losing yourself and trying to find yourself. But yeah, I mean,
been there, brother. Been there.
He's been doing good. I did like the promo on Monday he did. I did think it was weird that as soon as he shows up and RKO's Drew McIntyre, like all of Retribution just disappears out of nowhere. So that was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much Clash of Champions. I mean, I think we could. You guys think we're gonna have a little bit of a Retribution showing up on pay-per-view?
I hope not.
Well, because that's what I was saying. Because people were complaining that they would only show up on TV and not at the pay-per-view. So I'm like, well, now that you guys are actually signed, I mean, you guess
they could do whatever they want, right? So,
right. That's what they kept saying.
Like, I swear to God, if they break up the Street Profits match and that goes to a no contest and that feud
just to
continues,
have it again on Monday,
I'll be pissed.
Like the profits are up, dog. No, they're down. They're way down. Like, God.
I've never seen 4 wrestlers that I absolutely enjoy watching every week that I dread every time they're on TV.
I mean, and before, obviously they're. I was talking to Baca about this last week. I was feeling that way, starting to with Dominic and Ray and Buddy and Seth, but it looks like they're adding a little. At least they got a little bit more. They can add to the story or pepper into the story that they're already doing. But
the thing is, they're not making it like interesting. I don't know if they're waiting for Ray to come back officially or something, but like
they're not even giving his wife any lines. I mean, shit.
Like, dude, like
he doesn't know English.
Like, it's basically just Dominic versus Seth. We've already had it like twice already, or maybe even 3 times. I'm over it. Like, to be honest, like, let Dominic maybe get himself into like a lower to mid card feud for maybe even getting the Hurt Business United States pitcher stuff. I don't know. Like,
I mean, even if they wanted to continue him and Humberto tagging just to help strengthen him, that wouldn't be bad for him either.
They need a tag team. Why not do it? And then Rey Mysterio could join him, or Rey Mysterio could be like, "Hey, man, I think it's time when Ray gets healthy, he's like, we're gonna kick Humberto out.
Lucha House Party, and we'll be just fine."
Right? Dominic to me is just like
there's potential.
They're keeping him in a high profile thing.
Yeah, I was telling him I think that he's just I want to see him with somebody else where we obviously know he's a little bit protected right now. Not in a bad way. But I think that's why I haven't fully pulled the trigger on like being 100% behind him yet, because I want to see him with someone else. I want to see him mix it up with other guys that I know could wrestle their ass off. Well, see how he does with them. You know what I mean? So.
My thing is like him and Seth is a very linear thing. Like they just are staying steady with it. Whereas I kind of want to see where Dominic stands going up or down. Like where does he stand actually on the roster? Because right now he's just in a feud with Seth. He's not really part of the roster, in my opinion.
That's true. It's like a more of a high profile feud more than it is like a position or a ranking. That's true. That's very true. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess we'll have to figure out who's going to be walking away still champion after Sunday, and I'm sure we're going to be talking our shit about it, and hopefully on Monday, we won't see the same tag match again.
Hey, I really enjoy doing this with you guys, man.
I do too.
I appreciate you guys making time to do this again. Feel free to follow us on social media, man. That's at Flow Wrestling Show on Instagram and at Flow Wrestling Pod on Twitter. Feel free to follow us and subscribe to the podcast. That is Young Baca Productions podcast network. And, of course, we're going to be on YouTube as well. You can feel free to subscribe and check out the YouTube at bit.ly/capital Flow, FALOW show. Once again, Kwency Jones Go, Brian Andrew, a.k.a. Crazy K, and Young Baca, the American Dream.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week. Peace.